Welcome back, everybody. Dave the Gamer here. Today wanted to make a quick guide on the 3 different talent builds that I like to use. In my personal opinion, I think is the best. The first one is going to be all about beast mastery into a little bit of marksmanship. That's going to be your leveling spec. Then we're going to talk about your heavy into marksmanship, which is your raid spec. And then finally, a little bit about PvP. So let's start with leveling up. Like I said, most of it is going to be beast mastery because you want your pet to be doing most of all the damage, and you want to be able to kind of like hide behind it, let it kind of do its thing. So you're going to go into the endurance training for 5. You're going to improve your revived pet so you can get it back faster. So this is where you can go. So what I did is I went 2 into thick hide, and I went 1 into improved aspect of the hawk, give myself a little chance to get increased attack speed. From here, you want to go 2 more into 2 into pathfinding, kind of get around a little bit faster. You don't have to go this, so we could save this for the end, and I'll show you what some of the ideas. You do want the swiftness and 5 points into fury. So swiftness 30% increased speed while outdoors. 5% in a ferocity, give your pet 15% chance of critical strike. Um, Intimidation is amazing. This is the stun that your pet's going to have. This gets you out of a lot of danger, so highly recommend this. So we're at 22 points. You need 3 more points until you can get down to the frenzy. This is where, you could do a couple different things. So I prefer to go pathfinding, and if anything, I might go 1 point in this spirit bound. So if you wanted a little less armor rating, you could get more in the spirit bound, 1%, 2%. That definitely does help running between packs. It's healing you and the pet, so you can continue to go as far as that goes. So it's up to you if you're not worried about the aspect of a cheetah. I find I'm using that a lot. But if not, you could instead take those points out, put 1 more in the thick hide, 1 more in the spirit bound, kind of like here, and that's also a good route as far as that goes. Then you're going to go 5 into frenzy, and then 1 into bestial wrath. So the bestial wrath, it's going to enrage your pet for 18 seconds. He's not able to be feared. He's just running around like a madman, just killing everything as far as that goes. So that's going to be your first starting points that you want to get into. And I apologize. Instead of going into the spirit bound and the thick, I would instead go 2 into the focus generation. So you want the focus generation. I totally even forgot about that. More than anything, because that's going to help your pet use more abilities, which helps generate more threat, so you're not pulling threat. So I would really just go here. And then this is where you kind of can go a couple different ways. So you want to get down to aim shot is kind of what you're going for. So while leveling the efficiency to reduce the mana for your regular abilities, you can get 5% on your critical strike, and then you have aim shot. Then lastly, you want to get the 3 points into Hawkeye for the increased range as far as that goes. So now you have 6 points left. This is where you need to make a couple decisions on, do I want to go into Spirit Bound? Do I want to go Pathfinding, Thick Hide? Do I maybe want to go into like Monster Slaying to get the extra 3% extra increased damage? So overall, because you're only 6 points, you're really only going to be able to get 5 here and then 1 into here. None of these are really going to be beneficial while leveling. You could go into improved Hunter's Mark, like realistically, or also you could put 1 point in and then go 5 points into mortal shots, which is going to increase your critical strike damage. The only difference is when you do more damage, you have a chance to rip threat off the pet. So overall, me going so heavy into the pet side of things and me relying on the pet while leveling, I would rather go Spirit Bound, Thick Hide, 2 points in the Pathfinding so I can get around a lot faster. And then if anything, I might go 1 point into the hawk just to unlock here. Go 1 point into mortal shots. Little less damage. Like I said, you could trade out some of the survivability and some of the quality of life and go more into the mortal shots if you prefer that direction. More damage. But if you have some big critical strike damage, you're going to rip threat. It kind of defeats the point of having the pet. So that is the leveling build and kind of exactly how I would go through and put my points in. Let's check out the raid spec. Alrighty, so for the raid spec, heavy into marksmanship. So you're going to get 5 into efficiency, 5 into lethal shots, 3 into Hawkeye, 1 into aim shot, 1 into improved hunter mark, which I'll circle back and talk about that in a minute, 5 into mortal shots, 3 into barrage, increase your multi-shot. I always go still 1 into scatter shot, even though it is PvP or it is raiding and not PvP. It's still nice. I've saved a lot of people in dungeons and stuff of that sort. So now you're sitting at 24 points. You need to use up a couple more points just to be able to unlock this part of it. So this is where you'd go 2 more into improved hunter's mark, 5 into weapon specialization, true shot aura. This is the beauty. This is what's buffing up all of your team members and party members in your raid. So from here, if you're straight raiding, then you got to kind of look. So your beasts, your giants, that's really where you're going to get into the monster slaying for the extra 3%. That's going to help with some of the different raids as far as that goes. And then from here, you got to kind of look. So what a lot of people will do is you're going to, this is where, so I would go aspect of the hawk for 5, which would unlock the next level. Because realistically, you can give a little bit to your pets. Some people will go 4 points into endurance training, 1 into the aspect of the hawk. Your pet really shouldn't be taking that much damage if you know what you're doing. Like Molten Core, you know some of the abilities it's going to use, so you got to bring your pet back so he's not standing in fire or anything of that sort. And this is where, I mean, you could go 5 here, so 5 and 5. I personally like to go 2 into the revive pet to be a little bit faster, and then I'll only go 3 into here, and then which leaves me with 6 points overall. So my last 6, I will go 5 into Unleashed Fury and 1 into Ferocity for a little bit extra pet damage. The variance to that is if you are, now let me back out all of these. So the variance to it is if you are struggling and you're not worried about your pet damage and you're struggling on hit gear because you didn't get the pieces yet, then you want to go more into here. I would go 2 more into humanoid slaying, and then so from here you can really pick anything. So you shouldn't really be meleeing that much. Your traps aren't doing it, so I might finish out the humanoid. I might increase the critical strike of my melee, and then from there you can go 1 into entrapment, 2 into entrapment. It really doesn't matter. You're really trying just to get down to the Surfoot. So you have 9 points left. So I go deterrence. That helps you, get some dodge. You can get 4. Sorry, actually, I would go 2 in the clever traps, which is going to help with some of your frost traps and some of the encounters, which opens up this sure-footed. 3 points in this. This is what's going to give you 3% of hit. This is amazing if you don't have all the bisque gear overall. Highly recommend that. And then you could go a little bit into improved feign death, which this is the build I go for when I am doing DM North tribute runs. Is I would actually get a secondary point into the feign death, so I don't have any issues while doing that. So I was using this build, which was doing good in raids and in doing the tribute run for gold. You do sacrifice some damage because you're sacrificing a lot of overall damage from your pet, so it's not ideal. If you have all of the hits that you need from the gear, you don't need to go this direction. But this is a secondary look of a raid build while you're getting your best gear. All right, now let's take a look at the PvP build. So there's a couple ways you can go with this. Some people will stay Beast Mastery, let the beast do its work. That really isn't as viable until TBC. Most people will just burn down your pet pretty quick, regardless of putting points into it. It is nice because the Bestial Wrath, you can have it, really stick on a caster. I really don't have problems with casters. My main issue is like the rogues and the warriors getting on me. Those are the ones I'm most worried about, as they seem to always focus me. So you can go Marksmanship, go the True Shot, or that extra 40, 50 attack power. It's okay. One, it sucks because every time you respawn coming back alive, you have to cast it again. So it's just not always on as far as that goes. And I really don't think it plays that much of a difference. Personally, I would rather have counterattack. So I'm going to give up True Shot Aura to get that one extra point to get counterattack. So when I dodge and block and parry stuff, I'm able to have an extra attack to be able to fight the warriors and the druids and the different things that are on top of me. So I have more issues with that personally, so that's why I go that direction. So what I do instead, so I go 5 into concussion shot. I want the chance to stun, which is amazing when it procs. 5 into lethal shots, 3 into Hawkeyes, 1 into aim shot, and this is where I'll go so you can go 1 point either into improved Hunter's Mark or 1 point into reduced the mana. I reduced the mana. A lot of times I don't even get a chance to get Hunter's Mark off because it's a hunter that's already on top of me. It's good if you're bursting someone from a distance, and this just improves it a little bit. It's not like you still can't use the Hunter's Mark. 5 into mortal shots, 3 into barrage. This is where scatter shot's amazing. When you have that rogue, you have that warrior, someone that does get on top of you. I also use it to interrupt if they're within 15 yards. I can interrupt a heal. I can interrupt a hard cast on a spell. Beautiful. So a lot of times though, I'll scatter shot into feign death, freezing trap, and then I can get distance away from the rogue and the warrior to truly open up with an aim shot, multi-shot combo on them, kind of get that distance and that big burst. And by that time, so if you wait a while, let them sit in the freezing trap for a little bit, the scatter shot will almost come back up again. So when they do get close again, boom, you scatter shot them again. So you could pretty much permanently keep them in that cycle. So from here, you have basically 2 points until you can get down into your range specialization here. So first, since we're facing more people that are humanoids because they're PvP, you go 3 into humanoid slaying, 2 into the parry. So here is a couple different routes you can play with. So I like to go 5 points into entrapment. So when they're running across my frost trap, a lot of times they will get snared basically for 5 seconds, which is amazing. From here, I get 1 for deterrence. That's what's going to help increase my dodge chance and parry chance to activate the counterattack when they're on top of me. So that part is amazing. I'll increase the duration of both of my traps here. And this is where you could look to see, do I go health? Do I go increased critical strike with the raptors? Or do I go improved wing clip? So I definitely get at least 1 point into wing clip. Gives me a 4% chance to mobilize them for 5 seconds. Because once the rogue or whatever's getting on top of you, you're going to be spamming wing clip to slow them down so you can kind of get away and start using your range abilities. So I still need to spend 2 points. So this is where you got to decide, do I go heavy into wing clip? Do I go a little bit of health? Or do I go savage strikes? So I find myself, I will go into savage strikes because they're already going to be on top of me. I'm going to get the critical strike and I can pretty much 1v1, especially with deterrent up, a rogue. Warriors are a little tougher with their damage. So it opens up the next level here. So I go 1 point into Trap Mastery. That extra increase to 5% pretty much makes it where they rarely ever resist a trap. I go 3 points into Sure-Footed. That I want to be able to have a high chance of reducing the movement impairing effects, because if you get slowed or something, you're done. Which now opens up Counterattack, which is your final point. Which now opens up Counterattack. So now I have everything I want to go down this tree. What I want to finish off is getting here. So I need to spend 2 more points to get down to this next level. Like I said, you could go into Improved Hunter's Mark. I would rather go a little bit reduced mana on my shots, my last 5 points to increase my damage overall by 5, and bada bing, bada boom. That's it. That's the PvP spec that I personally go with every single time. The only little maybe possible variance, you might want to go from here, maybe 1 point out of here and go 1 point into Aspect of the Hawk. That's not going to hurt either. Give you that possible 1% chance to increase your attack speed by 30%. That's a pretty nice little boost as far as that goes. But I hope now, seeing the difference from the leveling spec, the rating spec to the PvP spec, that kind of helps you along your journey. Please let me know down below some of the variants you do, kind of why you do it, like what's the thought process behind it. Love to hear any feedback. This is my personal opinion on how I go about it, and like kind of where the flex points are as far as that goes. But hopefully it was helpful, and as always, game on.